And more to the point, if you own a home in California or you hope to next year, what's in store for you?
Right.
What do you think?
Welcome, everybody, to the San Luis Obispo Real Estate Podcast, the very first one of 2026. Wait, that's the year we're in now, right?
2026.
2026. Are you kidding me?
Most of my life, I never realized I would live to the year 2026.
Yeah.
Yet here we are.
Do you remember Y2K?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
God,
vaguely.
that seems like yesterday, and it's 26 years ago.
That's right. All the computers were going
Unbelievable.
to turn off. Yeah.
I remember like a dam was supposed to open and let too much water out. Something with that. The computers were going to just go crazy and
Yeah.
we were going to have floods.
I guess as humans, we always prepare for the worst.
Yeah,
Right.
or expect the worst, I should
Expect? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all
Here we are.
remember John Madden, right?
Of course.
And
Yeah.
Y2K Christmas dinner right before New Year's, right? I cooked a turducken. Remember, he used to talk about a turducken.
Oh, yeah.
First you take a turkey and then you stuff a duck inside the turkey and then you take a chicken and you stuff it inside the duck, And that was what we did at Y2K.
Did you really?
Yeah. We've only done it once.
You
It wasn't
cooked it?
bad. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was just okay.
No botulism or whatever you get from uncooked.
No, we ordered it frozen, delivered from Louisiana, which is where
Okay.
they make these things. It was
That's a
it
lot
was
of
kind
Okay,
fun.
well, I got one better for you.
Okay.
We were at a party in Phoenix, and we went to a late night diner, 2 a.m, and they had something called a fricchisi. So it was a hot dog stuffed with cheese, wrapped in bacon,
Oh my gosh.
and deep fried.
Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
And my buddy, the oncologist, had one. I said, you're going to be your own patient if you eat that thing.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, a
It's
deep
called
fried hot dog wrapped in bacon, stuffed with cheese, and when he got it, it wasn't quite fully cooked.
That's called
so-
a heart attack.
What's it
That's
called?
It was called a fricchisi.
That sounds like a Snoop Dogg word.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
well,
Anyway.
I'm excited about 2026. Let's talk about 2026.
Let's do it.
How's that?
Yeah, let's change that one.
For getting to the meat of the thing
Yeah.
here. So I picked up an article last week and it says, what will happen with California home prices in 2026 and what the data says, right?
Yeah.
So we all know from 2020 to 2024 what happened to home values in this state.
They went up for the most part.
They
Yep.
skyrocketed.
2024. Yes, thank you.
And then 2025 kind of a little bit on the flat side.
Yep. Drop
So what's the year ahead hold?
Mm-hmm.
And more to the point, if you own a home in California or you hope to next year, what's in store for you?
Right.
What do you think? What do you think's in store?
What you're actually asking me, or you want me to guess what they're saying?
No, I'm asking you, but I'm going to give a disclaimer, right?
Okay, let's do a disclaimer.
Whatever we talk about on this episode,
Yeah.
we all know that markets are unpredictable.
Yes.
And we're looking at some data. We believe everything we read online, right? And we're just trying to figure it out based on our own personal experience.
Well, I brought one part. So the one I'm looking at that I'm going to quote.
Okay.
But I have a different opinion. That's
Okay.
like the National Association of Realtors,
Okay.
right? So they're predicting a 14% increase in sales, and they're predicting a 4% increase in prices. So 14% more homes and
Okay.
4% more in price appreciation. And then I'll give you my opinion later.
So
I'm deferring to you.
there's the National
Yes.
Association of Real Estate.
That was what I just quoted for the
and then
nation.
there's the California
Right.
Association. Do you know what California is predicting on price?
I do not.
Yeah, it says that. Let's see, in October of 2025? So just a couple months back, it was the median price is $886, and they are expecting a big jump. Not a big jump. They are expecting it to go up 3.6%.
Okay.
So that's similar on prices to the National Association of Real Estate Agents.
Yeah.
But what they don't project is the 14%. They project that a little closer to low numbers on 2%.
Well,
on
and
increase in sales.
And look at how big the country is, and look at I think the Midwest is doing very well, right? That's one of the areas where they're having more sales. It's affordable. People are going there to be able to have more house and put some more money aside and get in the marketplace. But it's funny because I wouldn't even predict in our town because certain neighborhoods are doing better, but I also than others, and I also look at the median price and go, okay, well, we have a lot of high-end homes that are selling more than we used to, right? And what does that do when more of those sell? Draws up the median price. Does that mean the houses are worth more? Yeah, I have a different take on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you tell somebody who's wanting to get into the market now?
Well, find a house you like, and if it makes sense, buy it.
Okay. So has anything changed?
You want more on that,
no,
don't you?
But has anything
you want me to
changed?
tell you more? Yeah.
What's different about today and what we're predicting for 2026 than yesterday?
Yeah, I always am a little uncomfortable making predictions, and I will say this: I feel like we'll probably have more of the same this year. I don't see a big change unless there's a big change in interest rates, and I don't know what that's going to take because we've had a fair number of adjustments from the Fed already this year.
Yeah,
and our mortgage rates have come down somewhat, but rates will affect it, and so will the supply. And we've seen a big change this year. You pointed out what was the change we've seen just this year in our county.
Oh, wow. This is interesting. At the end of last year, on December 31st, 2024.
Let's use percentages.
I measured the inventory.
The baseline.
And then I looked at it in the middle of the year in about July, and we went up 73% in our inventory, which, would sound like a huge number. And it was significant, but it was 73% of an already low number historically. Now, when I look around today, that 73% went down to about 30%.
Yes.
So all of a sudden in July, we had another nearly 400 houses on the market. And, as we turn the calendar year, it's less than 150 more houses than we had a year
Right.
ago. So I don't know what that means. How did we get there? Did it mean that the inventory sold? Did it mean that people pulled their houses off the market?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, well, a little bit of both.
Okay.
So yeah, people definitely pulled their houses off the market, and weren't getting what they wanted. So we see more homes canceled, expired. In fact, this one house I just did a market analysis for, we have in the last 6 months, we've had more come off the market than we have on the market. Right. So just like you're saying, so if it doesn't make sense or it's not working out the way they'd hoped, then they pull them from the marketplace. Now, as we head to the first year, what always happens to the inventory? It goes up. Right. People put things on hold. They wait for after the holidays, and and most people assume they're going to do better in the spring or summer. Okay, so that can happen. But my whole joke is, in 2021, didn't matter what time of the year you sold your house, you got an amazing price.
Right.
And in 2009, didn't matter what time of the year you sold your house, you didn't get a very good price. So, we have variations in the marketplace, but I would just say the inventory has dropped significantly and stabilized. We'll see if it's stabilized, but for now, it's down from its peak, which has made the market peppier. We saw a very active December, very active, right? And people never expect that. So, those people that participated then were usually pleasantly surprised.
So 4 or 5 years ago, how long we've been doing this podcast? 4 years now? Something like that.
It'll be 4 years in May.
Okay.
3.5 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys in a minute how many of the subscribers and stuff that is, but we'll do that later because we haven't talked about it.
So when we first started doing this, we talked about we talked about the real estate market, right? And I was taught by either you or one of our regular guests that there are two real estate markets. One is pricing. And everybody in the world is interested in pricing.
Yeah.
But the one that the public doesn't think about as much, but the industry thinks about every second of every day, and that's the number of transactions.
Yes.
How many transactions are happening in the market?
Yep.
And the number of transactions are nowhere near pre-pandemic numbers.
No, I wrote it down because we ended up the year, and they're going to finalize this, but with around 4 million sales.
Okay.
That is the lowest number since 1995.
Right.
And in 2021, it was over 6. So that's a 30% reduction. So that affects a lot of people that are in the industry, and it could be just directly escrow, title, lending, et cetera. But it affects quite a few people. So I think we're probably bouncing around the bottom in terms of that volume. So I would expect an increase in sales this year.
I would too.
I wouldn't expect 14%. I'd be happy if it happened.
Yeah. But I wouldn't expect the 2% that the California Association of Realtors. I'm hoping they're wrong.
That was their prediction, 2% in sales increase?
Increase in sales volume.
Yeah.
But, it's funny. Most of us would think that interest rates correlate to pricing. And there's really never been a time when you can find that in the data. When interest rates went to double digits, and I know most people listening weren't around for that.
Sure.
But interest rates did go to double digits when I was very, very young.
Yep.
And prices skyrocketed. But I think interest rates correlate to transactions. So as we see interest rates drop a little bit, and we have seen interest rates drop a little bit the last few months.
Yes.
Maybe that's one reason that your comment about, December activity was starting to pick up, right?
I think so. And I think people see, like, I hate to get out of my realm, but the stock market keeps going up because the stock market's going up and people get in. And I think people see that, and they see real estate as a good way to either, protect what they have in terms of assets, sometimes grow them. And I think, there's the benefit of that. And they go, okay, maybe that won't last forever. Again, don't know the psychology of everybody, but we've had some very strong Decembers over the last few years. And usually it's meant the next part of the year has gone well. Now, if we look back on this year, I remember in February when we were trying to sell houses and things shifted really drastically, right?
Yeah.
And we had a real fast shift, and that's always hard to get used to. Right. So I think the downward shifts happen pretty quickly and we go, wow, that was fast. And then sometimes it takes back up again. We could see that again in January, February,
because I kind of keep score around here. Your biggest 2 months in the last 10 years were both Decembers in total number of closings.
Yeah.
So and you wouldn't think December would be the biggest month in California real estate, but I don't think we have the seasonality. We have seasonality, but I don't think we have the type of seasonality like some of our colder weather states.
Sure. There's a seasonality there, but not so much here. Yeah.
So I'm excited about this first quarter to see where we go. If you'll recall, in September of, I'm getting my years mixed up now, 2024. We saw a very significant increase in activity, and it correlated with a significant decrease in rate.
Right.
To about what rates are now.
Yep.
And rates still have, the average rate in the country still has a 6 in front of it.
Yeah.
Should that rate put a 5 in there? I think we're going to experience and stay that way for a few months.
Yeah.
I think we're going to experience the type of months that we had in September of 2024 in the first quarter.
It wouldn't take much to kind of set this one back up in the other direction. Yeah, it would not take much.
Yeah, one of our associates talked about all the pent-up demand, because when you have the population that we have and the number of transactions that we've had the last, 3 years now, there has to be people who want to move but haven't because, hey, I'm stuck in a 3 or 4% interest rate,
right? And
I don't want to move and then take on a 6. But if I could do it and take on a 5, I probably would do it.
Yeah.
So
no, that'll certainly happen. Yeah. Do you remember what Veronica was telling us from Equity Union, our new parent company? Our new brokerage firm.
Remind me.
So she brought up a great question. So what is your basic turnover rate? Well, what do you mean? So per thousand, how many homes sell? And she goes, usually in Southern California, it's about 4%. I went, well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure in the city of San Luis, we've got about 10,000 owners, properties that get turnover. And she goes, okay. And guess what? We did the research. Smart gal. So, we were just about, by the end of the year, 4%.
Yeah.
And now it's changed. Now, nationwide this past year, it was closer to 2.8%. So San Luis Obispo has more turnover, even though we're a small area, than the national average. But even last year in 2024, it was a little bit higher, 4.3%. And then Christina did this. She pulled up these numbers for 2022. That's when the rates went from low to high. And that year, it was under 4%. In 2023, it's 3.5%. So, that makes a big difference when you're trying to plan, if you're a escrow company or a real estate company or you're making loans, like how much activity is going to be in the marketplace. If I'm a builder and I'm in construction and I see there's only going to be 3 permits pulled and I only build new homes, I better start planning for the worst. But if I see there's 60 permits going to be pulled, and I just build new homes, then I might have a shot. So this is kind of a barometer for the real estate economy. My guess is this year it'll probably be similar to 4%. I think we're going to have more for sale, and I think we're going to have slightly more sales. Not the 4% that and the 14% that NAR does, but if I'm guessing, I'm going to say we're going to probably have a 10% increase in sales this year. That's my guess because of rates.
In 19, 20, and 21, if you combine those 3 years.
20? 1920 or 2020?
2019.
Okay.
2020.
This is going back to when Warren Harding was president. Yeah.
Hey.
When they first started the internet in 1920. No, let's be
I
clear.
never thought I'd be a senior, but I guess I had a senior moment.
But we know it. 2019,
2020, and 2021. If you average those 3 years, it's probably about 5.5% of sales.
Okay. Of the housing stock was selling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, boy, if we could get back to 5, because those years were great years for the real estate industry. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for every home sold, I think there's about 15 other industries that are positively impacted.
And your mentor would tell you, I don't care what the interest rate is, go to work and help people get what they want, right?
Yeah.
Do the things that you know that you need to do to make your business
We cannot
successful.
control,
No.
that.
Which brings me to a interview I saw on television last week by, can I say his name?
I feel like I'm talking to Paul Harvey. No, but
now
the story. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, you said Paul Harvey's name. Can I say this guy's name on the air? I guess I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Public figure,
You're not saying it in a bad
Ramsey.
way.
I mean, a lot of
Okay,
people-
sure. Yeah.
A lot of people subscribe to
Yeah.
Dave, and hey, there are a lot of things that I agree with Dave, and there are times when he and I probably disagree on some of his things. But he was talking about hope, and all of us have to have hope. And and this was geared towards wannabe home buyers today.
Yeah.
And he said, if you think you're boxed out of the American dream because of affordability, he said there are things that you can control and things you can't. And he talks about controlling the controllables, right? And one of the questions he asked was, how bad do you want a house? How bad do you want that American dream? Is it a dream, really? And what are you willing to do about it?
Yeah.
And what he's acknowledged is that so many people who say they are boxed out of the American dream don't have hope because they've run up their credit cards. They're driving a car they can't afford, either with a high lease or car payment. He said, what you can control is your discipline on your spending.
Yeah.
You don't need Amazon showing up every 13 seconds at your house. And he said, do your best to get out of debt.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to buy a house. It is. It's hard. Affordability is a word we hear on the internet and on the news and the newspapers every day today, don't we? It's crept its way into politics, right? And he goes, don't make it harder. Show some discipline on your spending. But he said one thing, and I'd love to hear your comment.
Okay.
He said, prices never go down. except temporarily.
Right.
And that just hit home with me.
Yeah.
Because that is what I believe. They don't go down except temporarily. And it's back to the last 70 years. How many years have home values gone up versus they've gone down? The answer is 90% of the time they go up. So I'm just interested in what you.
Oh, I think it's great advice. You can control the controllables, and for anything worthwhile, it takes sacrifice, right? To buy a house, it takes sacrifice. You might give up your Starbucks or your night out or this or that, and balance that out. And some people don't want to do it, which is fine, and other people do. But that does make a difference. And the kind of the nice thing about a house is, I remember when I was trying to start to save money and it was hard, and then I was having automatic deposits made, and then times got tough, and I wasn't making the money I wanted, and I was going, geez, and I would stop putting money in, right? And that affected the outcome. Versus you get in a house, and once you're in it, it's hard, to move. So you hang in there and you make things work. And I can't tell you how many stories I hear of people doing this. And thank goodness, because I was in my house a long time, and that became a very valuable thing. So it takes discipline to get in, and it doesn't take as much when you're in it, honestly.
Right.
It doesn't. And then you have that, and you let the market do its thing, and guess what? Over time, you're better off than when you started. Now, in the short term, can you have a bump? Absolutely. But if you can get through that time, so I think that's great advice.
My son-in-law and daughter talked the first few months in their house about how hard it was. I haven't heard them talk about it in a while.
Yeah.
So to your point, they got used to it. What's interesting about affordability in this article that I've been sharing some bits and pieces of? It said that affordability is going to get better next year. Now, not a lot better. It said, 17% of people this past year could afford a median price house, which doesn't sound like a lot, right?
No.
But he said it's going up to 18% next year. Not a big jump, but a jump in the right direction.
Yeah.
Why do you think more people will be able to afford a house next year?
Well, I think on average, most places have seen a drop in prices, and we've seen a drop in mortgage rates, which both make it more affordable.
Yeah.
And that's aside from any incomes that might have changed.
You want to know the summary of the article? 3 points. Mortgage rates ease down to an average of about 6%. Well, I'm hoping for a little better than that, but that's what the article says. Active listings rise roughly 10% as more owners are willing to sell. Again, there's no guarantee of that, especially if the stock market dips or California precious crypto takes a hit. I don't understand crypto, so I don't know how to respond to that. And then the other point is the home insurance crunch, trade tensions, and overall economic uncertainty remain headwinds, but do not tip the market into a downturn. In plain English, they are calling for a slightly busier market and slightly higher prices. Not a boom, not a bust.
And who's in this?
This is the article we started with.
Oh, okay.
The NAR and the CA
okay.
talking about
the
data and what's going to happen in 2026.
We'll see.
So
are you making a prediction?
Yeah, I'm making a prediction that I'm following Team Sweasey this year.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm an optimist.
Yeah,
at heart.
of course.
I think we're going to see a little bit of increase in prices. I think we're going to see an increase in activity. And I think with the way our team is constructed here, I think we're going to see 2026 a much more productive year for Team Sweasey than 2025.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I mean, you can be an optimist or a pessimist, but if you start your season in football, you expect to win the Super Bowl. If you're not, you're not even on the team.
Right.
But only one team does. But at the end of the day, we're just striving to do the best we can for ourselves and our clients. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a fun year. We'll see what happens, and we've seen plenty of them. So,
yeah,
we're excited for this one.
This is going to be what, your 35th year in the business?
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That ought to be a party, huh?
Started when I was 9. Here we go. Yes.
Hey, well, Jeff and James, take us out of here.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging with us.
And then how do we do this year compared to last year in terms of just rough numbers, James? Like what is it?
Which numbers? You're talking about YouTube or?
Yeah, subscribers, and then YouTube. Like last year was a big deal in 2024 because we had 1 million views. Is that right?
Yeah. So 2025 total was 7 million views.
So okay.
And what did we have last year?
A million.
So that was last year. 2025 was at 7 million, and then 2024 was 978,000.
Oh, okay, not quite 1 million. I exaggerated.
Not,
okay.
I mean, close.
Yeah. But
Close,
1 to 7, that's good.
Seven times. So, James, we're expecting 49 million here in 2026.
I mean, hey, JT, we need
Yes.
Bueno.
keep the content, the great content up, JT. Make my job easy.
Yeah.
So 7,700,000. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And how about subscribers?
Total, we're at 140,000 subscribers.
Who would have guessed?
Almost 141.
Who would have guessed, right?
Yeah.
Good job, James. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
To you guys. To you guys with all the great content.
Yes. All
And,
right.
and
It's gonna
Mr.
be a fun
Kingman
year.
for his
I got to change your guys' commercial. I said over 100,000. The number keeps going up. I keep changing that commercial.
Good job.
All right. Well, speaking of all you 140,000 subscribers, thank you so much for watching on YouTube. We appreciate you. That's why we keep doing this, giving you great content from these two gentlemen. And then, Mr. Kingman, what do you got?
Well, as always, subscribe, like it wherever you do it. There's so many different podcast platforms. Just remember to search out the SLO County Real Estate Podcast, and it will pop up. And it's a treasure trove of information. And we mentioned how long we've been doing this, 3.5 years. You can go back and you can listen to previous episodes and kind of take the journey along with us and find out information. Like there's episodes about home staging, and there's episodes about planning and estate sales and things like that. That we cover a lot of things, and elderly care and how you take care of that. I mean, it is a wealth of information. So don't just listen to the latest episodes. Yes, listen to those first, but then go back and listen to some of the old ones.
Which I got to know which is more, a wealth or a treasure trove? Because I like the treasure trove. I mean, I couldn't hear you after I said that.
Did I say both? I do work in a cliche-laden field.
Switched it up. Treasure trove.
Treasure trove. Well,
I'm going to look that up when we're done.
I think treasure trove is
that means a lot.
It's the end. It's the end goal. So that's the ultimate wealth. So treasure trove is
good.
A little bit more than
All
one.
right. Learn. See,
In my world,
the English language that's being banned.
Yes, I just rank cliches all the time.
I learn a lot every day. All right. On that, thanks guys for a great episode. Everybody for watching again, and we'll talk to everybody later.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Brand new year.